For those of you who do not know my next guest, Charlie Travers was a finalist on the UK's hit show Big Brother, and after coming in 5th place, she made the move to LA to pursue TV hosting. A little while later, and she was cast as the assistant to Tyler Henry on E's hit show The Hollywood Medium. She's also the host on the Grammy series On Location. Without further ado, everyone, meet Charlie Travers. And I have to say, she is one of the sweetest people I've ever met. I really enjoyed doing this interview, and I hope you enjoy listening to it as much as I enjoyed interviewing her. Hi, Charlie.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? So let's get started on the questions for you, if that's good.
I would love that. Yes.
Okay, cool. So it's pretty clear that you've had one hell of a career journey. What would you say motivated you to get involved in showbiz, like in the first place?
Oh, yes. So first of all, my mum, growing up, she was always off traveling as a dancer and a singer in a group that was quite famous in England. It wasn't like a worldwide famous thing, but so yeah, I just grew up around a mum that was always dancing and singing and had her own TV show, and so she kind of got me into it. But then as a kid, I always used to kind of want to just be a presenter. I don't know why. I just always wanted to talk to people and interview people and, find out what's going on in their brain and what makes them tick. So I was always fascinated and curious by human beings.
Mm-hmm.
But I also love to entertain and be on camera, and I grew up dancing and, drama school and things like that. So I think the combination of just passionate about talking to people and wanting to entertain on camera was that's how it kind of started.
I like that answer. Okay, so
Thanks.
Next question. Reality TV
Yes.
shows like Survivor and Big Brother are huge on the scene in Israel. Can you tell us something about reality TV that would surprise us?
Oh, so I did Big Brother.
Yes.
In 2014, and what would it was very, you would think that it was actually produced. In my opinion, you'd think it was more produced, but it really wasn't. It was a complete and utter genuine social experiment. We did not speak to a single producer. And I think in my experience, people think, oh yeah, the producers are telling them what to say and telling them to have drama and instigating this. But we genuinely we didn't see a single producer for the whole 3 months we were locked in the same room.
Wow.
And it really was just let's just wait and see what happens. It was a genuine human experiment. And other than the only thing I noticed that was sneaky is they would ply us. They would put so much alcohol every night in this store cupboard, and then at 10 p.m. they would be like, the store cupboard is open for alcohol, and they knowingly put lots in there so that when you get drunk there's more fights, there's more conflict. So I do think they instigated, but it genuinely was no phone, no contact with the outside world, no movies, no music, nothing, just a silent room for 3 months.
Did you enjoy Brother? Did you like the experience?
I actually wish I had my time again, because I was in such a strange headspace back then. I had just come out of, a very whirlwind of an eating disorder and some addiction and some quite heavy stuff. So I went in there and I was almost this kind of like bad girl trying to turn good. So I was just very, very soft and very gentle and didn't want to upset anyone. So I played it very safe. And actually looking back, I wish I'd just spoken my mind more and just been a bit more feisty, not causing conflict or anything, but just having more fun, not worrying what people think, not exactly, and not just not worrying so much what it looks like or what people think, just having a good time.
Maybe you can go back.
Exactly. Yeah, well, they've actually discontinued the show, but people are hoping that they bring it back on a new network. So we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
All right, next question. Can you tell us about some of the challenges or struggles that you have faced in this competitive field?
One of the hardest things is that there's millions of people in LA trying to go for the same roles. Right. So unlike a normal job where maybe there's like 20 applicants or something, there literally is hundreds of thousands of people applying for the same audition. So that is a huge pressure, and it's like very acting, competitive.
Right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Just like acting. And so and the other thing as well is is confidence, like self-confidence. When they give you a script or they say, right, shine, pressure's on, give us your best, you, especially in an in-person audition, you really have that one shot, and it's very nerve-wracking because you don't want to get it wrong, and you want to do your best, but the pressure is very intimidating sometimes when there's like 4 casting directors just staring at you waiting.
Right. It's very
And
give it your best, like when you're in this very awkward setting.
absolutely. And I think a lot of it is when you trust yourself. I see most actors be successful is just when they rock up, they trust themselves, and then they just kind of detach from the outcome. They're not desperate, they're not being needy, they just do their thing.
Right.
And for me, the hardest thing I've had to overcome is when you get a really good appealing job, you get desperate for it. You really want it. You're like, oh, this could be my big break, this is perfect for me. Mm-hmm. But then you attach to the outcome, and so then you put all this pressure on yourself, and then it actually goes wrong. So I've actually learned to just go, you know what, no pressure. If I don't get it, I don't get it. It's not for me. If I don't get it, this wasn't meant to be. So just changing your approach and just showing up as your best, but that's it.
Right.
But it's very,
the more you do it, like the more experience you gain, you probably get better at it, like everything.
Yeah, definitely. Exactly. The more you keep doing it, and just for me, it's a lot about overcoming my fears of just, if I can just keep being more relaxed and more natural, then it's great. And then that's all I can do. But yeah, it is a tough industry because you're constantly being rejected, and you have to make sure you don't take it personally. And it's not because you're bad. It's just, you have to kind of go, right, well, I'm not what they're looking for.
Right.
Rather than like, oh, I'm not good enough.
No, for sure. Changing your approach can actually help you. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with the show, The Hollywood Medium?
Yes, with absolute pleasure. I love that show so much.
Me too.
Yeah, love it. And Tyler, I actually came to LA, and I went to, I actually bumped into a lady because her breakfast looked really good. And I went up to her on my first few weeks in LA and was like, hi, what food have you got on your table? And anyway, the next thing I know is she put me in touch with a manager. He called me in the next day. And then that was it. The rest is history. I walked in there, and this old guy who was Tyler's manager at the time, who very sadly passed away a few years ago, he was like, hey, Charlie, I heard you're coming, join us for lunch. What do you do? And I was like, oh, TV hosting. And he said, are you interested in spirituality and mediums? And I was like, absolutely. Speaking my language, completely what I love. And then he was like, oh, we're doing a pilot for E Network. We're going to do a show for E. So that was it. I ended up having a screen test the next day with Tyler, and we had this instant soul connection, and it was like platonic, this soulmate vibe.
Yeah.
And I actually pretty much moved in with him and just spent every single day with him. And it was honestly, the last few years working with him was the most magical, divine, easy, light-hearted time that I've ever had. And he's so special, and I've learned so much from him, because he truly, for anyone that actually, is not sure about mediums or him, I'm always a bit skeptical myself. And working with him every single day, watching him, change lives and give these celebrities the most incredible, profound and honest readings, and accurate, and just watching their reactions like, oh my God, how the hell do you know that? That real stuff that no one would ever know.
Right. What an awesome time to get to work, personally.
I know. I feel so, still to this, yeah, exactly. I still to this day feel so honored and so lucky. I'm like, how did I get so lucky that happened?
It sounds like it was meant to be between the two of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Some synchronicity and some synergy there. And he said that. He was like, this is completely meant to be. And yeah, it was amazing traveling around, meeting different celebrities. But more than anything, it was so divine and magical watching him connect with the other side. Because obviously, people like me without that ability, it's difficult for us to understand with our human brains to kind of conceive and comprehend, energies and dimensions that we can't see or touch.
Right.
And yeah, I really didn't fully believe until I met him, and he gave me a reading, and that's when I was sold.
Did he ever give you one?
Oh my goodness, yes. He gave me one the first day I met him, and it was the most life-changing thing I've ever experienced. I could not, I mean, I cried. I was trying to keep it together to be professional because we were in like a giant meeting. Like, forget that. That went out the window. I was sat there shaking, goosebumps, head to toe, crying my eyes out. He connected with my grandma who had passed away. She died in my arms when I was 15. And literally on the kitchen floor as I was talking to her mid-sentence. And the first thing he said was, he explained it perfectly. You know, no one knew this. And he was like, your grandma's here. She's so sorry that you had to see her go at such a young age when you were 14. And but she had, you know, she was in the perfect place in your kitchen, eating her favorite meal, talking to you, and she just is always watching over you. And then he proceeded to go on to other more personal things, you know, about, you know, I'd had some precancerous cells and some things like that in certain areas, and he knew all about it, everything. It was crazy. And that's the moment I was like,
goosebumps as you tell
yeah,
me. That's so crazy.
so crazy. And it was just things that no one in the world could ever know, even stuff that some things he said my parents don't even know about me. That's how I knew that this was the real deal.
Right.
And then of course watching him, then he gave my friends some readings when I first met him, before he was, you know, as big as he is now.
Right.
He had more time, and he's so generous, and he's so kind of wants to help people. He's not about the money. And so he gave a few of my friends readings, just, you know, because my best friends had lost their mother, and it was another mind-blowing, I mean, I was mind blown every day, basically. I was just like, oh my goodness. So yeah, it was a great experience. It was magical.
Also that closure that you got from that reading, I mean, that's priceless. Like, what that gift that he can give people, you know?
Isn't it? It is exactly that. It's totally and utterly priceless, especially to get that information from someone that is so gentle and compassionate. And he's very good at a lot of mediums that at least I've spoken to. It's quite difficult for them to like pinpoint exactly what they're getting from the other side. So they can tell you vague things, or they can tell you detailed things, but their timeline is off. Whereas with Tyler, I find that he's just so on point. His way of delivering the messages he gets with his articulation and his compassion and his just all-round sweetness, you know, his kind of adorable nature.
Really comes across. I've got to say, like, I was just a watcher of the show, like in Cape Town a few years back, I think, when I was still in high school, and I got that vibe from him, that kindness that came through. So that's really cool to know. You know?
Oh, I'm so glad that it came through. Yeah, no, he's very unique. I'm very lucky and privileged to have worked with him.
So to those that see TV hosting as their dream jobs, what advice can you offer on like how to get there?
Ooh, what advice?
Tough one.
That is a tough one, because it's so individual each time. But the best thing I can say is, first of all, finding what area of hosting you absolutely want to focus on. Because what I did was spread myself too thinly and try and do everything from music to cooking to fashion. And it's just, although it's great to put yourself out there in all aspects, to really hone in on your area of talent and your area of passion. That's and get really good at that. Thank you. So yeah, get really clear on what you want, which is, funnily enough, I'm only just doing that now. I was just decided recently that that interviewing is definitely my thing, and to let go of all the other types of shows. The other thing I would say is the persistence and the tenacity is just to keep going, because I know so many people who nearly gave up because nothing was happening for years and years and years, and then bam, that was it. Not necessarily overnight, because they had all those years, but one opportunity, and then it can really change your life and absolutely make you. Or it can be more of a gradual thing, but never giving up is very cliche, but just persistence with it. And then always learning to evolve yourself and your craft. So like constantly being in the know, training yourself, teaching yourself, watching videos, practicing. Like I practice in the mirror and do all sorts of silly things. And yeah, just keep going around with whatever you can do. Like even if you don't get a job opportunity, you know, going around with a camera or a cameraman and just, you know, going interviewing people on the streets, or sitting at home and creating your own, you know, home studio, and just getting yourself out there and create your work, make it happen. Don't wait for that opportunity. Like I waited for years, and now I'm starting to make my own content, because otherwise you could wait forever.
Right. That's great advice. Thank you. All right,
You're
we've got one
welcome.
more question for you. You've like
One more
coming
juicy question.
through.
Bring
Where
it on.
this one's good. This one's good. Where would you like to see yourself 5 years from now?
Oh, you're asking me at a really interesting time because I've basically just had a entire midlife crisis breakdown
Oh, it's a good
about
time.
my
Once
life.
you're in a crisis. I mean, that's a good time to be like, what the
Exactly.
hell am I doing with my life?
Absolutely. Yeah. So to be completely honest, I actually am about to do some serious soul searching. I've reevaluated everything and I do not know exactly what my life looks like in 5 years. I know that I would love to be thriving with my own TV show, my own interview show, where it's a very intimate platform on setting, and I'm just really kind of just getting up close and personal with the people that I want to get to know and to share with the world.
Well, that's
So
awesome because I
different.
remember you said that in the beginning when
Mhm.
I asked you what motivated you. You said that you love to pick people's brains. So that's cool.
Exactly, yes, it's the piece of me that like is fascinated by the human mind, but and the other part of it is because I love human connection, and the way I see it is we are all one. Obviously we have individual identities and ego, but we are all, here we're all the same really, and so that unity and that connection, close connection with other people, I find very what it's all about and very comforting. And then the third thing for me is that because I love learning and getting to know people's insights or expertise or their tools or their stories, I figured that if I want to know that from people, why not share it with the world? Why not, if I get great advice, for instance, or great tools from an expert, why not share that on a larger scale so that people can also receive that knowledge? So that would be my one thing that I do know. And other than that, I just think I would love lots more adventure in my life because I've been a bit too kind of controlled lately. So I just want to be a bit more wild and free and travel,
Come back to
but
Israel for a
also come back to
bit.
Israel, exactly, but also be thriving. And at some point, I really would love a family, but I am not in any rush to do that. I want to set myself up with my career first and be able to give back to my parents and everything before I start having babies.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
That's awesome.
thank you.
Well, I'm sure we'll be
Yeah,
seeing you. Everyone that's listening, take note. And also,
yes.
exactly what you want to do and share knowledge with people and stuff. That's what you're doing right now, because all the students that are listening, I'm sure, will take a lot from what you've just said. So thank you so much for your
Oh, of
time.
course. I think it's so important to share, from where you're at and what worked for you, what didn't work for you, because you can save someone a lot of trouble from going down the wrong road and wasting time when you can, listen to other people that maybe have experienced it. And I still know absolutely nothing. I'm really trying to learn from other people that have done really good and see how I can apply that to my life. So
Well,
yeah, it's
I
all
mean,
just,
you've
it's
you've
great to share
inspired
it.
me. I've learned from you. I mean, you spoke about human connection. It's crazy. Like I was doing this video thing in Israel, and a
Yeah.
friend of yours, Raquel, she like said to me like, "Oh my gosh, like I love what you do. Like, what do you want to do one day?" And I said like, "Oh, I love TV presenting. Like maybe I could like I would love to TV present. It's like E News, like a Morgan Stewart." And she was like, "No way! I know this girl Charlie, and she had a show with E News. Like." Let me try and get you guys in connection, and then like that's how we got
Yeah,
connected.
because
So
Tyler read Morgan Stewart. That's how I know of her, is that we went to hers and he read her.
flip,
That's
it's a
amazing that
small
you,
world. They
yeah.
say
Well,
it's
just
6 degrees of
quickly, hmm
separation, but it's not. It's like 1 degree.
exactly. It's getting closer and like more and more close as the years go by. Can I ask you, what's your dream in 5 years' time, or like what part of hosting do you really want to thrive in?
Ooh, good question. I like how this is.
I flip
Yeah,
the turnaround.
yeah, you made for this, Charlie. So also with Corona crisis and everything that's been going on, I've been homebound for the
hmm
last 4 months. I've done a lot of
hmm
self-reflecting and also
Yeah.
and I don't have like a concrete plan. I feel like if I do that, if I'm too stringent with myself, I'm almost setting myself up to be disappointed. So
Yes.
I would start by saying I hope to be like happy and healthy for starters, and
Yeah,
whatever I'm doing.
great. I'm going to add that to my list. Thank you for saying that. I should.
Sure, sure.
It's very
And
important.
it is really, because it's if you haven't got that, then I don't think it's really worth it. And and
Exactly.
hopefully doing something that I love. So for similar to you, I love talking to people. I love the element of TV and how, you know, how people are so entertained by it and like behind the scenes. So I hope I'm doing something in that field. And
Yeah.
yeah, I hope I have a lot of travel and experience under my belt.
Nice. So quite similar. I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
And I just wanted to say that you really, really lovely, like natural interviewer. It's really, you're just a lovely listener, and the way you
Oh,
deliver questions, like I'm really enjoying talking to you. So
thank
so
you. You
yeah, I'm really
too.
excited to see what happens to you. This is great.
You
I
too.
can't
We'll
wait to
keep
see
note of
you
each
blossom
other
as a
five
host.
years from
Yes,
now.
definitely. Who knows? We could even be we're hosting a show together one day. You just never know.
Right?
That's
Right?
a cool thought.
Well,
It's a
Charlie
cool thought.
Travers, thank you so much for giving us your time.
Of
I'm
course. You're so welcome.
so happy to hear you. So we'll be chatting hopefully soon again.
Thank you, Candice. Thank you for having me. That was really nice talking to you.
No, you too, Shane. You want to go to bed, but hopefully we'll chat again soon.
I would love that. I would really love that.
Have a good sleep.
Yay.
Thanks, Charlie.
Yeah, have a good day. Bye, love. Bye.